If you could only hold on.
April is Autism Acceptance Month. CDC reports the recognition raises awareness about autism acceptance and promotes inclusion and connectedness for people with autism. Social and community support can help people with autism achieve optimum health and reach their full potential. All right, we ready? Episode 3. Tony, you ready? Yes. How you doing today? Are you good, babe? Good. Rated, how's your day going? 1 out of 10. 10? I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. So today we're going to talk about dreams deferred. How do you like that topic? Have we experienced our dreams being deferred, or what we thought our dreams were being deferred? We have, haven't we? So we head down the road, God showed us to head down, and then our plans are kind of disrupted, and God has us going off into a whole nother direction. But that's okay. All right, baby, ready? Let's get started. Episode 3, let's talk about dreams deferred. There are so many times where you think you're on a path that God intended, and then He totally changes things up. So I know for me and your dad, we have been on the path of going in the direction, being ordered by God, set out, and we're like, are you sure you called us to this path? So yeah, let's talk about that. Have y'all experienced that?
For me, I could definitely say, my dreams have been deferred.
Okay.
At least I thought. Just starting off with, my upbringing. It was football. Football was life.
It was your life.
I'm like, at that point, from Pee Wee, Pop Warner, in Charlotte, North Carolina, it was big in the South. So
huge.
So with that, training, practice, going to the weight room, I felt like I was built and ready.
Exactly.
To play in the NFL.
Yeah.
So yeah, from Pop Warner, middle school, starting,
right,
making noise, got your name out there. High school, starting, playing running back, linebacker. Right. And then I would say as far as, it kind of started to get deferred just because, we had to move around a lot.
Yeah.
So I wasn't at the same high school. So it's a lot harder for your name to be, out there than being able to know you and,
right,
all of those things. So
yeah, because generally you have scouts that they're following one school and they're keeping track on the star.
Right.
And like you said, unfortunately, with us moving, you didn't have that opportunity where they might have had their eye on you. Then, you were up in another district. So yeah, I get that. I didn't understand that at that point. And I know your dad was always looking to, I need to move you to this school. Right. So, because they, it seems like they have better opportunities for you. You see them going to state and regional championships and stuff. Right. So, yeah, I get that. And what's so funny is like Pop Warner, I didn't even know what a Pop Warner was until we went down south. It's like,
right, exactly.
What is that about? So, and, I really didn't want you in football at all. Before you were even here, I was like, if we have a boy, no football. Because I knew how much a fanatic your dad was.
Right.
And so he kind of eased me into it. We'll just let him play flag football at the church. And I was like, oh, okay. They just, no real contact. They just pulling the little ribbon, whatever it was, the little flag.
That ain't last long.
That
my
did
dad,
not
for him,
last
that was
long.
like play.
It was play for real, yeah. Yeah, so he immediately moved you out of there. And then what was your first one? Steelers?
Yep, Steelers.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And then after that, where'd you go?
Vikings.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Now that was fun. We traveled with them. Mm-hmm. I really enjoyed when you played there. So yeah, everything about how your future would be was on a fast track to, you know, D1 college, then, you know, ultimately NFL. So then what?
Right.
So what happened then?
I mean, but it wasn't that.
Right.
You know, from college, of course, like again, you know, we moved around. I didn't have any scholarships.
Right.
Of course, you know, D2, D3 schools looking at you, but that's not really what you want.
No,
Right, that's not your
uh-uh.
goal. It's
No.
D1.
Right.
No.
So at that point, I'm thinking like, okay, maybe I need to go to JUCO.
Right.
Just different options, just to build up film,
Mhm.
go to a D1 school, try to get my stats up. But it wasn't that. You know, we tried, me and Antoinette, we actually went to the University of Kentucky.
Right.
So we went there. You know, I tried walking on
Yeah.
during that time, you know, 2019. Then my dad had a heart attack. And then at that point, you know, I was still trying to be persistent with UK as far as, you know, going up, talking to the coaching staff. You know, pretty much, I was honestly going back every day.
You were.
I was harassing them at that point,
You were.
but I didn't care. I was like, I want it. You know,
Right.
this is my gift.
Right.
This is what I'm supposed to be doing. So, I mean, if you know that, you know, you're supposed to take every opportunity
Right.
and utilize it. So
Exactly.
that's just what I did. You know, kept lifting weights.
Yeah.
At that point, I'm like, okay, you know, UK ain't it.
Right.
Of course, you know, athletically, not academically.
Exactly.
Right.
Right.
Mhm.
So at that point, you know, I'm checking into, you know, XFL.
Right.
Where can I, you know, go to camps in the summertime, you know, try out. I'm checking into arena football. Just XFL, everything I can to, you know, make my destination.
Right.
So at that point, you know, I did, you know, get a few little teams that actually wanted me on their
Yeah.
team.
Yeah.
But it was just different locations. It wasn't in, you know, the state and city that I'm at.
Right. Right.
So at that point, with my dad being sick,
Yeah.
you know, it was like, how can I do that?
Yeah.
I
But
still
you know,
gotta
me
take
and
care of him.
Antoinette, we were like, you know, you go ahead. You know, you follow your dreams. We'll take care of your dad. And you know how we roll. Ultimately, if we needed to relocate, you know, to be there to support you,
We'll do it.
you know we'll do it. Yep. But you were like, no.
It wasn't that.
Yeah, it wasn't that.
Right.
Yeah.
So at that point, you know, even though I'm like strong-willed,
Mhm.
I ain't gonna let nothing stop me. Like if I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. But at that point, I was kind of forced. I wouldn't even say I forced, you know, to quit.
Mhm.
Because at that point, I didn't quit. It's just like God moved me into a different area.
Right.
So it stopped.
Yeah. So how did you make that? How did you pivot? How did you, you know,
Transition.
transition to the next thing? I mean, and of course, we're not talking about working a job to keep money flowing. We're talking about your gifts and the
Right.
direction. So from football to your next, how did you transition? How did you know where to go and what to do?
I mean, from there, I just asked God, I'm like, okay, so if it ain't football, like, what is it? Like,
Right.
I thought that was life. Football was life for me.
Right.
So at that point, I'm like, okay, the only thing other than football I had was music.
Right.
That's what gave me the motivation, you know, before the games, while I'm training, practicing, music was always there. So I'm like, okay, if it's not football, it's music. It gotta be. So at that point, I just kept praying, like, okay, you know, I kind of always knew, like, up and coming artists.
Mm-hmm.
I put you onto a lot of music before everybody blew up. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'm, you know, I kind of checked into, you know, starting off with like maybe a A&R or, you know, music exec at a label.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, it's not enough creativity. You know, I like to be hands-on with stuff.
Right.
So I'm like, that ain't it. A DJ, okay, you know the music, but I'm not making it.
Exactly.
So I'm like,
That's
okay.
yours.
Right, it's not mine. So at that point, I'm like, okay, it's producing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been making my own music ever since.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll never forget when you came to us, me and your daddy, and was like, you know, I've been praying. This is the direction. What was my response to you?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Because, you know, me and your dad, we taught y'all to have a relationship with Christ. So even though me and your daddy love y'all, we're going to support y'all. I have to listen to what your creator has given you direction on. So with that, my thing was, how can I support you? What do you need from me to make your dreams come true? To follow your dreams. This is the area that God had gifted you in. So, and it's been on ever since. Yeah. So I'm proud of you. I'm proud because your gift at making music is crazy. I mean, how you can go up and put stuff together and it being so unique is crazy to me. And it's crazy because, I mean, I can't do it. It ain't seen it done. So it's a blessing. And for you not to just be one track. Like your genre is from electronic to hip hop to R&B. Then you love that old school, which you know me and your daddy we love. So I mean it's great, and you know we're proud of you. We are absolutely proud of you, and support you 1,000%. Now of course, you know your daddy would love for you to go get your master somewhere and try to walk on today.
Right now.
Right now.
I love that.
He would love that, wouldn't you, babe? He's
Right.
saying yes. Yeah, so,
We're
but
30-year-old playing college football.
Yeah.
We've seen him.
Yeah.
we see him.
He was an old guy with gray hair. He was like my dad's age.
Yeah.
He was like 50.
Yeah,
I need to put a little picture in there real quick.
yeah. We'll have to put some of those pictures in. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Antoinette, have you felt like your dreams have been deferred, or
Yeah.
a dream been
Yeah,
deferred?
for sure.
Okay.
And I would say my dream of being a designer
Mhm.
and opening up my own clothing brand
Right.
is like the dream that I felt like has been deferred.
Mhm.
And mainly during the period of like being in college,
Mhm.
that's really the time where I felt it most, as far as like, oh, what am I doing?
Mhm.
I'm supposed to be, you know, doing my passion, opening up a clothing brand.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was that? Was that your first year in college, your second year? How did all of that kind of play out for you?
I think it was probably about my second year in college.
Oh, okay.
Because when I went to college, I went to University of Kentucky, and I majored in agricultural economics,
Mhm.
and that was fun.
Right.
It's something I'm interested in.
Mhm.
I like, you know, learning about architecture. Well, not architecture, but what is it called?
Agriculture.
Agriculture.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Agriculture and farming. So yeah, that was fun learning about that. But because it's not, you know, what I want to do, I'm like, if I finish out this degree, like moving forward for my whole 4 years, I don't want to work in this field.
Exactly.
It's just an interest.
Exactly.
Yeah, so during that time, I was just figuring out, you know, what exactly I wanted to do and get my degree in.
Mhm.
Yeah. So during that time, I changed my majors a lot. I started off with ag econ,
Right.
then I changed it to like, what was it first? Art. Then I
Yeah,
changed
you
it
went
to
to
art.
art. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm a creative person, so I'm
Right.
like, let's just do it all.
Right.
Art can encompass like everything I'm interested in.
Right.
So I did that, took those classes, and it wasn't what I thought it would be. So I'm like, yeah, I don't think I can do this.
Mhm.
Changed it. What did I change it to? Oh, I talked to you guys about changing it to a medical major.
Right. Right.
Yeah, and I'm like, maybe I want to go into the medical field.
Right.
My dad was a corpsman.
Exactly.
I can see myself being a nurse, a doctor.
Right.
Then I'm like, that's getting way too far off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's like, that's not creative.
Yeah.
So I'm like, let me not even go into that. Because
Right.
like, once you get in the medical field, you can pick a lot of different jobs.
Yeah.
So then,
And you would have been successful.
Yeah.
But would that have been
Exactly.
Your dream.
your dream?
Exactly.
Where God had blessed your hands. So
Yeah. So then I didn't change it to that.
Right.
Then I changed it to. Oh no, I was talking to you about changing it to architecture.
Right.
Yeah, since I always wanted to go to college for that.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't actually want to build buildings. I just like looking at architecture.
Right.
So let's scratch that, and I just went to business.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which works.
Yeah.
And then you said you kind of felt a sense of
I felt settled once I
settled and
did
sense
business.
of because no matter what business you run, you have to have a strong business acumen. You have to have those foundations of running a business. So business always works as an entrepreneur, having that degree in business. And of course, you know, I have my MBA, so of course I would root for business.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's cool. That's good.
And like during that time, like I've always, since I was like 3 years old, I've always drawn
Always.
sketches, clothing,
Always.
you know, different tops, bottoms.
You always had projects.
Always
Yes,
that project.
yeah. Drawing my little ideas that I came up with.
Yeah. And you still have those sketchbooks,
Yeah.
which is crazy. And the fact that, you know, you were 3 years old, we knew that we had to now nurture this gift. So we started buying you all kind of pencils, coloring pencils, sketchbooks. Oh my goodness, you had all kind of sketchbooks.
Right.
Then
Scissors.
I was gonna say we bought you
scalpers,
scissors.
zigzag
Yes.
scissors, a 30
Yes.
pack.
Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
yeah. And I think even you didn't do too much of it, but didn't you have some? Did we ever get you water paint?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
did.
I think we did, but you
do
didn't
that.
really deal with
Yeah,
that too
I
much.
did,
Yeah.
yeah.
But what was interesting is like you were so detailed in your drawing at such a
Yes.
young age.
And
I mean, you didn't draw stick figures.
yeah.
You were literally designing clothes, which was crazy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And like when I look back at those sketchbooks, since I have them now, like looking at them, I'm sketching clothes, but when I look at it, I'm like, oh, this is a tech pack.
Yeah.
At a
It's like-
young age, like,
Yeah.
what did you know about clothes? Like, you didn't know
I
nothing about
I
clothes.
know, I didn't.
That
So
is
that's
crazy.
weird.
That's weird.
Yeah.
And you know that's God given when you can move in that direction at that young of an age. I mean, your scarves on your designs, the scarf would be blowing in the wind, and they would have purses and jewelry. That's nuts. Yeah, but I mean that's your gift. That's your gift.
And I would say, like, since I've always been sketching my
Mhm.
whole life and stuff like that, drawing out ideas, since I have been doing that, I put a timeline on doing it. Like, oh, always thought in my head, oh, by 23,
Yeah.
like 22, 23, I should have a clothing brand. I should have started it,
Right.
working on it.
Up and running.
So, yeah, that's where feeling the delay came.
Yeah.
Just because I put my own timeline on it.
Right.
But,
Right.
yeah.
And we can't put a timeline on what God has for you in a particular season, because everything has that that place of growth and maturing. And at 23, obviously there was something else that you needed to know. You needed to grow in before you open up that business line. So at 23, would you have been ready to open up your clothing line?
No, not at all.
So what do you think you grow? Where do you think you've grown in that space, or how do you think you've grown in that space?
Well, I'm 25 now, so it's
Right.
not too long
Right.
ago. But still, I feel like I've grown in patience.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you need to like be still and
Mm-hmm.
stop like all the little movement and just like flip flopping, like
Right.
changing my majors. There's
Right.
nothing wrong with that. once you're trying to figure out what you want to do. But like once you're an entrepreneur, you have to, you know, be steady or consistent.
Consistent.
And have a hard work ethic.
Yes.
Yeah, that type of thing. And like not make sudden moves. Like when you're doing a business, it's upbeat, but you still have to make smart moves and be slow.
And
so your
strategic.
decision making,
Everything your dad and I did, it had to be strategic. You know, in our growth and how we, you know, who we hired. We were literally in several states at the same time. We had to be strategic in what we selected, what we, you know, went for. So absolutely.
What business?
Yeah.
What business was it?
Oh, what business? Commercial, janitorial, and floor care. So you guys know firsthand. Y'all were right there with us. Stripping and waxing floors, you know, learning how to speak to the managers, to, you know, your regional directors. So yeah, and you know, you guys got an opportunity because we put y'all, and here's the other thing, which I don't even probably, I know you don't remember, but we have put you around business since you guys were in the little carrying things. We took you to business meetings. Didn't we, babe? Yep. You would be in a pouch. Your daddy always had you on a little pouch. And you were in a carrying. I forget what you call those little things. Anyway. Yeah, so, you know, we've had you guys around business your entire lives. I had Antoinette, you know, I had you on the phones, you know, calling, making appointments. Josh, your dad had you working.
That's real work.
That's real.
I done had so many different jobs, but that's different right there.
It's different. And the dedication, like you said, the work ethic.
There's no stopping when you're an entrepreneur. That's 24/7.
It is 24/7. I would literally, your dad would be out at the stores. I would have gotten you all in the bed, went back downstairs to the kitchen to wash out bottles, to get the kitchen, you know, clean. Your dad's calling on the phone. Oh, so-and-so needs his dependence change. Oh, so-and-so. So that never stopped. Like 24/7. You know, business doesn't stop, and you have to have maturity to handle those things. You know, not being, you know, hasty in your moves, in your actions, you know.
Because now you're a steward, like you have employees now that you're supposed to be employing and all of that. So
You're a steward.
it's not just about you when you have your own business.
It is not.
It's about a consumer. Always.
That's right. Always. Yeah. That's good. So did you always, in that time, that lag time, did you, what's that word? What's that you say about your craft?
Perfect.
Did you continue to perfect your craft?
Yeah, for sure.
Uh-huh.
Just like whenever I had ideas, I would, you know, draw them out. And there's something now that I have that's in the works that I drew back then, like when I was in college.
Yes.
So
Right.
I'm using that. And then during that time, I just prayed, you know, prayed for unique ideas that God can give me for my business. And you guys will see it soon.
Yay. I'm so proud of y'all. And I love how we work together. Now, you know, I love y'all. But anyway, everybody, anybody I work with, anybody I come in contact with, know how much I love my husband, and my kids, my babies. I don't care how old y'all get. But anyway, okay, I was about to get sidetracked. Okay. So anyway, what I love most of all is like, you're my manager for the podcast.
Yep.
I'm your manager. I'm your manager for certain things. And so that's what is so unique. And so it's always that extra layer of like accountability and did you do this and did you do that? There's scripture to support everything that we've been talking about tonight. You know, how there's dreams that are deferred, how there's, plans that you have for yourself that, you think, you thought they were delayed, but no, they're not. It's a season for that. And then God ordering your steps. The first is Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you a hope and a future. Everyone quotes that. Psalms 37:23-24. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and he delighteth in his way. Psalms 119:133. Order my steps in the word, and let not any iniquity have dominion over me. And then lastly, Proverbs 3:5-6. God directs our steps when we seek him and want his direction. It's been good. Thank you.
If you could only hold on.